That was the worst one yet.
I think stopping it and starting it was just bad.
I almost started laughing in the middle of that because it was so stupid.
It sounded like your phone was breaking.
Yeah,
That was the
I thought
idea.
your mic was cutting out.
Basically, like if you do the thing where you're looking at all the apps that are open on your phone and then you like close it again and over again, it like doesn't know what to do with the sound. So that's that.
I
Impressive.
get like that a lot.
Well,
Welcome, everybody, to the Too Soon Podcast, Episode 7.
Damn, we're 7 episodes already.
I think so.
Yeah.
Shit.
Unless we forgot.
We're actually on 28.
Oh, damn, my life has just gone by. I am your host, of course, as always, Trenton, joined by my fellow co-host, Auric,
One day you won't be the host.
Liam,
I'm going to replace you.
and Trey. Trey?
Huh? Nova, how's your weekend?
Oh, my weekend.
Seamless transition.
Well, the
told you I
reason
got
Trey
you.
asked is I had a strange weekend. And basically it all began with an invite to my cousin's graduation. I already told Trenton about this, but I haven't told you guys about it.
Yeah, you went into pretty good detail when we talked about it the other night.
Yeah, I mean, there's a good chance I'm going to forget some of the details, so make sure if you remember anything that I don't, feel free
Oh,
to...
I remember quite a bit. But actually, this is related to whenever you told us you were going to go buy new clothes, right?
Yeah. Did I say that on the podcast? I don't remember.
Yeah, you said that a few episodes ago. You mentioned having to go shop or something like that. Maybe it was in the pre-show. I don't know, but I think you might have mentioned it on the show.
Well, if I did mention it, yeah, I basically, a few weeks ago, spent a whole fucking day at Bloomingdale's, which I didn't want to do. I
Sounds
don't know
like a
why anyone
restaurant.
would. What?
Sounds like a restaurant.
Well, funny you mentioned that, because they have a restaurant.
Wait, you guys don't have Bloomingdale's in Florida?
No, we don't have anything.
It's because they don't have rich people there.
True.
Actually,
Yeah.
on a side note, real quick, before we go into your weekend, because I do want you to tell it on the show, of course. Me and Trey had a little bit of a sad day, to be honest, and I feel like me and Trey should really just tell you guys about it really quick before we actually
Did
go
you guys
into
go to that
Auric's
Ariana
Grand
concert
Adventure.
or something?
Yeah.
That was in like the UK, Auric.
Oh, I thought it
Too
was in
soon.
Too
Florida.
soon, or too soon.
Too soon.
Damn.
But no, me and Trey wanted to do some shopping today, so we kind of just drove around our town, which we don't do very often. We usually just go straight to the places that we're trying to go to. We're very in and out type of guys, but we just felt like, you
That
know
is
what? Let's see
sad.
if there's any like pawn shops or anything that we could just go to, or just some places to check out something in case we need anything. So we went to like an antique shop, a couple pawn shops, just to try to shop around in town. And man, there's like nothing interesting going on in our town. We already know that, but we were heavily reminded of it today, and it was really sad.
Yeah.
I even suggested Goodwill.
I don't understand why people shop at Goodwill.
Because
You actually find good shit every now and then. Like, my mom goes to the Goodwill in New Rochelle, and she actually has, like, a competitor there that she, like, anytime she's there, she'll see this other guy who's also there looking for something that's valuable. And, like, every now and then she sees that he found something valuable, and sometimes she'll find something valuable, and she'll see him looking over at her, like, in jealousy. Like, she
That-
found some fine china recently there.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
I don't
Huh.
understand people.
Goodwill's a weird place. Also find some good, like, antique furniture sometimes, like smaller pieces.
Yeah, our shopping, though, today pretty much ended up with us just giving up, going back to Trey's house, and then his mom took us shopping at JCPenney's instead.
Yeah, Trey's mom.
That's cute.
Yeah. They were closing, so everything was like.
Yeah, they've been closing for like the last few months, but they're officially going to be closed for good in our town in like a month. So we found some pretty good deals on some clothes and stuff. I got some new earrings, too.
Oh, look at
Pretty
you,
fancy.
You have,
Mr. Fancy Pants.
you have pierced ears?
Yeah,
Yeah, I got my
didn't
ears
know that?
pierced, and
Why?
yeah, I got my ears pierced in December because I just wanted to do it.
All right.
It looks good. I like it. Liam, you've seen it in my Snapchat,
Yeah.
right? Don't you think it looks good on me?
Yeah, it looks alright. I mean, I'm not a big fan of piercings as
Do
is.
these
So.
earrings make me look
No.
fat?
No, I mean I would never get any other type of piercing, but I
Yes.
just kind of always thought that earrings might look good on me.
Get
And
a
I like them.
dick
so.
hole piercing.
Oh God, no! Wait, a
weird.
dick hole piercing?
That way
I think
when you
that's-
pee, it literally goes everywhere.
Oh my God! But yeah, so that's how depressing our day was. So, Auric, why don't you go back and tell us what what happened with your weekend with your family?
Well, the main aspect of my weekend was the contrast between spending time with my grandparents and the other relatives of my cousin who is graduating in this weird farmhouse versus
From college, right?
Yeah, graduating from Gettysburg. So I was in like this farmhouse in Gettysburg, and I'll get into the description of the house later. But basically, the main contrast was between those houses in the middle of fucking nowhere and the fucking my cousin's frat house. That was my first time in a fraternity, and God, was that an awful place to live. I don't know. Basically, all right, so I'll start with the
I don't
farmhouse.
understand frat houses.
What?
I don't understand them. Like, why?
Well, I mean, I think that like you could have a nice frat house. Like we went into a sorority, and the sorority was really nice and had like mahogany and shit, and it was clean.
Because
I mean, there were still passed out girls in the living room, but it was still clean.
Well, the ideas of fraternities and sororities, right, are like to like get scholarships and stuff, isn't it?
No, I'm pretty sure the idea of it is to get fucking hammered.
What the fuck?
That was Trey's phone.
Well, be professional, man. Turn your phone off.
I thought I did.
Fucking dipshit.
Well, we're keeping it.
This
It's
episode of the
Hadouken!
podcast just got Hadouken.
Yeah.
Oh, I lost my train of thought. What were we?
I was asking about the point of fraternities and sororities.
Well, okay, yeah. I don't know if this is the specific purpose, but I know that my cousin's fraternity ended up raising like $20,000 or something for charity, and it was just his fraternity alone.
What they do?
I don't know. It's probably
They sell their
something similar
bodies.
to Neighbors, the movie Neighbors, where they just like
They
took
drink beer.
No,
Party
I
up
think
a
in the
storm.
movie they cast it. They made casts of their own dicks and then sold them.
I would do that.
Why?
It was in the movie. It's not real life. I don't know. Maybe they did something similar. I wouldn't be too surprised because my cousin's a bit of a womanizer. If you're listening, you are and you know. But all right,
Yo, if Auric's cousin's listening, hi.
yeah.
If he's listening,
If
Mo-
anyone's
this is
listening,
Liam.
hello.
this is a special message from Trenton here to Auric's cousin. Auric's cousin, if you're listening to this, go ahead and send us a little bit of that fraternity money. Support the show.
Also follow us on
he's not
Twitter.
part of it
We
anymore.
need
Oh, yeah.
Twitter followers.
He doesn't really know how to use phones, which is odd to say about someone who's a year older
Hey.
than me.
At Too Soon Podcast.
Tell him to send me a cast.
All right. Well, anyways,
And
I'll
make it
talk about
double.
the fraternity building first, I guess, because it's kind of shorter and weirder. So when I walked in, it essentially felt like I walked into a public school that didn't have a janitor. And then, so we kind of just walked around for a bit. He ended up showing us the room that he slept in, which I don't know what the fuck was going on there. He had like a fake plant in the corner and then a mattress without sheets, and that was it. And
that's hot.
he told us about how they have this tradition of hiding things in the ceiling tiles for like future generations to find. So like he's like, yeah, we could probably just find some weed in the ceiling, and so we just like it became it was a very like Always Sunny in Philadelphia moment when we were talking about getting ceiling drugs. We just looking
Ceiling
around in the
drugs.
fucking ceiling for drugs.
What will be the title of
Yeah,
the
as
episode?
long as there's PCP in though.
Yeah,
Ceiling,
well,
yeah.
apparently he found like 10-year-old weed in the fucking ceiling or something like that.
That's pretty.
But
hot.
then we ended
You
up
get it out of the ceiling, you hold it. It's like my ancestors have blessed me.
he ended up leading us down to the basement, which was like kind of their like lounge / game room area. Like they have what they call the dance room, which is just like a empty room with big speakers. And then downstairs underneath that room is a like pool table and stuff like that, which the entire floor was very sticky. I ended up
wonder
retreating to the
what.
carpet because I just wanted to be able to lift up my foot occasionally. And while I was standing on that carpet, it was me and my 3 cousins, one who lived there and an older one and a younger one. And he showed them a room in the back of the basement that was full brick, like brick floors, brick walls, brick ceiling, and it just had a bunch of shit in it, like broken everything that you can think of was just piled up in the back of that room. And apparently the use of that room was just to piss in. So they just would go into that room and just piss on the floor.
I see.
And
I'm not even confused by the pissing room. I'm just confused by the fact that why is it brick floors?
I've
never seen that before.
It was just full brick. It was like I was in a fucking oven.
That makes a lot more sense to me because actually Auric mentioned that part to me whenever he was telling me the story the other day, and I don't think he mentioned because I don't remember him saying it brick. I don't know. I feel like if I was gonna pee in like a room in my house and like all my friends just pee on it, I'd rather it be brick. I feel like brick is kind of like the right material just to constantly piss on.
Pissing material.
But I can't imagine like being a sophomore and like looking into fraternities that you want to join, and you're taking the tour, and they're like, yeah, and this is the piss room, and you're like, fuck yeah, dude.
Piss on the floor in here.
Just like imagine Nova looking through fraternities like, which room do I pee in?
But which one has a room dedicated to
How bad
pee?
did it smell though? How bad was that?
I was about to enter. Essentially, I was walking to it because he was just showing us around, and I had no idea what was in store for me. And he like was saying, and this is the, and then he opened the door, and I immediately knew what it was, and I didn't go in. And then piss room, and I was like, yep, and I left.
So they don't even like Febreze it, you think?
I don't think they do anything in there
other than
window? Wear shoes. No, it's like underground essentially.
Oh man.
Because like if I was like in any way associated with that house or that building, I'd be like, you know what? I'm not gonna clean up after a bunch of fraternity dudes piss. But if I have to go in there and pee myself because like the bathroom's full, whatever, I'm gonna bring a can of Febreze. I'm just gonna.
Well, that's the thing. They have like this full size, essentially like a public bathroom upstairs. I guess they just didn't want to go up the stairs because they're probably
but keep
too
in mind
drunk.
though, it's a fraternity house. They're gonna have parties every weekend with like 50 people in the house.
Yeah,
but there's still no reason to go into a specific room for peeing.
That's
no, when
not
you got
a
like 50
bathroom.
people in a house,
It doesn't even have a drain. They just wait for it to dry.
Oh,
like I think at that point they maybe should consider investing into a drain. That would make a lot of sense. But I mean,
But then
the
you
idea
gotta,
of having
drill a hole in the piss.
a group urinal for a frat house makes sense, but it should actually be a legit, urinal.
Like wall to wall.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. What else? Okay, yeah. Then the rest of the night was just us being like in the backyard playing Can Jam for like 2 hours in the middle of the night. I think we stayed there until like 2 a.m. Oh, okay. Then I almost forgot this part. Going home from the fraternity, there are aspects of this that I might censor for reasons. Basically, on the way home, everyone except I was a designated driver and I don't really drink anyways, but everyone was drunk. So they were going a little crazy, and some of them were crossfaded. And my cousin, I won't say which one, decided to start peeing on the side of the road. There's a lot of pee in this. We also peed on the side of a building and shit.
What's up with Pennsylvania and pee?
I think it's just what's up with alcohol and pee.
I feel like you might have missed some more details about the frat house or some kind of, because like weren't you there at some point during a party though before you left?
Okay, so the party was before. It wasn't really. There were two different parts.
It was before the pissing, correct?
It was before the tour of the fraternity. They weren't really having a party at the fraternity. There were just a few of his quote-unquote brothers there with some of their relatives.
Bro.
And
because you mentioned a girl and some other people you were talking to at the frat house during some.
That was the girl who took us to her room in the sorority that was like 2 houses down, and took us into her room, which was like the trippiest place to be, like, to get a contact high in.
Was it a sex
that's what
dungeon?
happened. What?
Was it a sex dungeon?
No, it was just like, those. It reminded me of like Game of Thrones, but with neon. And I actually have a picture of it, and I'm gonna probably just post like an album of
a picture of a random girl's room in a sorority.
Well, okay, it wasn't a totally random girl's room. It was. I met her once before, like 10 or 11 years ago, and they were like, she was childhood friends with all of my cousins and her brother, and she just happened to go to the same college as one of my cousins, and so we all went into her room. But it was like this small room, but it reminded me of Game of Thrones, but neon, because it had one of those like nets that goes around a bed. It's like the original purpose of those nets were to keep mosquitoes out, but now it's like girls like them because I don't know, it's cute. I don't know.
All right.
And then it had like little LED lights all around, and it was just completely blue. And it just when you're not someone who smokes and you get a contact high, and you're in a room like that, it's just weird.
Now, when you were in the room, would you say like it's the whole setup and everything about it, like when you were looking at it, and you were looking at the girl that you knew, and this was like her room and everything, and she's the only one who lived in it, right?
Yeah.
So when like taking all that in, observing the situation, did you ever think like, man, she must get a lot of dick in this room?
I was not focusing on that. I was mostly focusing on getting my cousins home alive.
I mean, she was hot, right?
Like
a
7.5.
6, 7.5. That's like look. If I was in a girl's room, a sorority girl, and she's a 7 or higher, I'm like, how about that dick though?
But it was like that wasn't on my mind because it's a room with me, my 3 cousins, and her brother.
So you guys can share.
Yeah, her brother. All right. I mean, her brother was really weird. Oh, I forgot to talk about this. There was a point after the initial party thing, which I'll also talk about. After that, we just like didn't know what to do, and we kind of wanted to get away from all the people that we didn't know, and so we just decided to revert back to our old ways of climbing trees. So we were gonna go try to find some cleams to climb, some trees to climb,
some cleans to climb.
Fuck.
Did you guys also play ping pong?
Yeah, ping pong was a big hit. But yeah, we were looking for some trees to climb, and this kid, I think his name was like Kyle or something. He, their childhood friend, he somehow like caught up to us, and he was already wasted by that point, and he's already a strange person. Like,
y'all trying to climb some trees.
He went on for like 40 minutes about why a creative writing major is pointless, and I just sat there, and my cousins were just looking at me, and I was trying not to crack up because it was too funny hearing a drunk person tell me why my life is going to be pointless.
Was he directing that at you?
No, not at all. He was talking about someone else that was doing it, and he was like,
okay.
Like, he was putting on like this, I'm disappointed in this person act. And I was like, well, I understood his argument because most of the time he's correct. But if you're talented, then he's not. And hopefully that's what I am. But anyways, that's besides the point. So we were trying to just get away from everything and climb some trees because that's what we do. And he like was on the verge of tears because we didn't want to go to what he was calling his sister's party, which turned out to just be all 6 of us in her room, and that was the party.
That sounds
so he was essentially crying that my cousin didn't want to do that and wanted to climb trees instead. And it just went on and on and on and on forever. And we were standing on a bridge, so I made a joke that I was going to go jump off the bridge. And it wasn't tall, so I kind of considered actually doing it just for comedic purposes. Just to get him to shut the fuck up, because it went on forever. Like, please don't go. Please come to the party. You don't want to climb trees. Come on, man. You want to come to my sister's room and get high in a glowing room.
Noah, did you die?
What?
Did you jump? Did you die?
No,
it was like an 8
podcast.
Are you okay?
It was like an 8-foot tall bridge, and I would have jumped off of it if there wasn't a stream at the bottom. Because then
you're like 7 of those 8 feet, so you would have been fine.
Yeah, 6, but yeah,
not 7.
What was it? Okay, yeah. Then before that, we were at this like yard party, which was already strange because like I don't do parties ever really. I don't like people, let alone people I don't know. And there was hay all over the floor. For some reason, they thought that was necessary.
Maybe it was for
It was
peeing.
like, this is where you stand. It was sick. It was like you
one
stand
random
on the
horse?
hay. No,
I mean, it was a yard party,
I mean,
right? So
there were a lot of horses. It was fucking Gettysburg, but there weren't any horses at the party.
I think it was for peeing.
Then they had these over the hay. They had these 4 sticks surrounding the hay, and like on top of the sticks were these like string lamp things, like LED lights essentially, but not LED. And it was everyone was standing underneath it. And I leaned up against the pole, and I realized how easy it would be to ruin everybody's night. And I pitched it to my cousin, and he was like far too excited about the idea. And I was joking. I wasn't gonna knock over the pole. It would have been really easy to do. But he was like, "Yeah, we should probably do that." And I was like, "No, change the subject. You're too drunk." And all right, I'm skipping around a lot because it's all like coming back to me.
I was gonna say the chronology of this weekend is all over the place.
I mean, it's the specific oddities that matter. It's not when they happen that really matter. So I'm going to skip back to when we're leaving and my cousins are drunk.
Well, before you skip back, did you want to go over to Trey for an intermission?
All right, Trey. What you got?
Hi, I'm Chip Skylark. I'm going to sing for you.
Okay. What you got?
I need you guys to be my backup singers, please.
Okay, I got you.
Ain't nothing but a hound dog.
No, it's Chip Skylark. My shiny teeth and me.
My shiny teeth, shiny teeth, that sparkle.
Shiny teeth. That's all we gotta do as a background singer. Do it. Shiny teeth.
I don't know the words.
Fairly Odd
And
Parents.
that was the intermission.
Yeah, and that's the intermission.
And
Thank
back
you,
to the
Trey.
main story.
No
So,
problem.
yeah,
I'm
thanks,
useless.
Trey. You got my thought process is all fixed and rested and all good.
Thanks
No
for,
problem.
thanks
That's
for
what
that
I'm here
dank
for.
intermission.
So on our way home, there was a moment where, back to the piss, my cousin was peeing on the side of the road, and I was getting in my car. Well, my grandfather's car. It wasn't really my car, but I was
kind of car is
being.
it?
I was. It was some kind of Jeep. I don't remember which Jeep Liberty or some shit. I don't know. One of the base model Jeeps. Nothing special. And he was peeing on the side of the road, but he was so crossfaded that he decided that he didn't really need to face the opposite direction anymore. So he turned around facing me and starts just yelling and screaming and whipping his dick all over the place while peeing. And he starts peeing all over the car. So I just drove away, and he's just peeing into the road at that point. And then a cop goes by at that very moment and apparently doesn't see him, even though he's peeing into the road. And he's
lovely.
underage. And
Maybe he just didn't want to deal with it.
I think he knew that it was going to be a crazy fucking
I
night.
mean, I would. Like, if late at night, I just see that, I'm just like, no.
I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to get this kid who's probably covered in piss and put him in your car to, like, spend the rest of your night dealing with that shit? I don't know why anyone would torture themselves that way.
So, did any of you, just on a side note, I kind of thought about it just now, did any of you grow up with brothers?
Nope.
I'm a single child.
So am I.
Oh, man. So, stuff like that, like having, like, my family just pissing on me, it's kind of a brotherly thing to do.
Nope.
That's weird.
I mean, at some point, look,
brotherly love
but,
involves urine.
But I
I'm
can,
just gonna
I
piss
can
all
imagine
over
at
you.
some point,
That's
knowing how
pretty gay.
stupid and crazy my younger brothers were, there was probably some piss involved somewhere.
Do you
Just
think?
saying.
Do you think if girls had the ability to aim their piss better, that would be a thing with sisters as well?
No.
There's certain types of sisters, yeah.
All right, and then back to the main story. On the way
Back to
home,
the regular
when
scheduled
everyone's
program.
in the car, my older cousin tells me, like kind of quietly, like pull over. And I'm like, he's gonna like throw up or something. I pull over. He opens the door, and as he's getting out, he's like, I'm gonna get on top of the car. so he just goes in the back and then just gets on top of the car. And at this point, I'm just trying to get home. It's fucking like 2:30 in the morning, and I'm exhausted I woke up at like 7 in the morning to get picked up by my grandparents, who were an hour late, to then drive for 4.5 hours to Gettysburg, and then like settle into the fucking country house, and then go to this fucking nightmare of a quote unquote party. And so I just wanted to get home. And I was like, okay, fine. You could get on top of the car. I'm not gonna stop you. I don't know how I would anyways. So he gets on top of the car, and I just drive the rest of the way home with him on top of my car at 40 miles an hour.
You told me that the other night. I really like the way you worded it the last time you told me this. like you made it sound like at first he suggested the idea and then you were going to stop. It's like, okay, Auric's gonna be responsible, sober cousin, and he's gonna force him saying there's like, and then Auric's just like, nope, just get in the fucking
he's just on top of the car now.
He's gonna be on top of the car whether I like it or not. So.
Yeah.
Are you bigger than him?
He's taller than me, but I'm bigger than him.
Yeah, you could have stopped him. You could have
calling
been like,
yourself fat?
I'm not gonna fucking yeah, I'm calling myself fat. I'm not gonna like wrestle my cross-faded cousin into the car. He wants to stand on top of the car. It's your prerogative. I'm going to bed soon. That was my mentality.
It's not my problem.
Yeah. So then we got home. It was all safe and sound and everything, and everything was fine. We ended up like staying up an extra like 45 minutes just making Snapchat videos of the weird shit that's in the country house, which I guess that's a good segue to describe the weird shit that was in the country house. Basically, the place we stayed at was like this, what's it called when you rent a place on an app?
Airbnb.
Airbnb, there we go. It was the other one, but it wasn't Airbnb, but it's essentially the same thing. And so we rented 2 houses on this like massive farmland. One was for the adults and one was for all the kids, me and my cousins. And each house was decorated with a shit ton of Confederate general stuff.
See,
so,
that's
like,
what confuses me about this.
Okay.
You were in Gettysburg,
yeah.
which was always controlled by the North. So why the fuck is there so much Southern shit and Confederate
I don't
crap?
know.
The South will rise again.
They had Robert E. Lee blankets for sale.
They
had
But
Robert
why?
E. Lee
That makes no
pillows for
sense.
sale. They had like paintings and pictures of old generals on the walls. But the weirdest part was the life-sized mannequins, like basically like a museum exhibit scattered around where you're spending the night just staring blankly into the oblivion.
Did you cuddle them?
What? Did I
Did
cuddle
you cuddle
them?
them?
I stayed far fucking away. It was they're
should've cuddled
terrifying.
them. I mean, come on.
I don't want to go next to Robert E. Lee, and I also don't want to go next to Robert E. Lee's mannequin that's sitting at a desk in the middle of the living room of a house that I'm staying at for
Let
2
me
nights.
ask you,
How about
would you
Stonewall
feel
Jackson?
safer if you knew he was right next to you, or would you feel safer if you knew he was across the room?
I'd feel safer if I knew that he didn't exist. That's when I'd feel safe.
So
How about if it
sitting
was
at a
Jefferson
table in the
Davis?
living room, right? So he's like actually just like he's posed sitting.
yeah,
at the
he's
table.
posed at a desk in the living room, and
So why
every
don't you
time
like sit down and play cards with him, break the ice?
Yeah,
Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Auric.
are ya?
You must be Robert E. Lee.
That must
so
be
much about you.
Robert. I've heard so much about you in my history
Can I call you
classes.
Rob?
And
Strong silent type. I like it.
So basically, anytime I got out of the bathroom was upstairs because I was staying downstairs in the game room, which I'll get to, because that was even more weird. But in the bathroom was upstairs, so anytime I walked out of the bathroom, the first thing I would see would be Robert E. Lee just staring at it like nothing, and it scared the shit out of me every fucking time.
You had a good
Every time I
Nova?
jumped. What?
Did you have a good P Nova?
Yes, it was Robert E. Lee-less. Robert E. Lee-less P.
Robert E. P.
Robert E.
watching you, Nova.
P-less. All right.
Robert E. Lee will not pee with me, please.
Okay.
Make sure you wash your hands, Nova.
So now I'm gonna literally walk you down the spiral staircase down into the game room / man cave of the guy who owns the property. So his decorations in the game room did not cease to be Confederate based. There were tons of Confederate flags all over the place, and then there what seemed to be new additions were a whole lot of Trump posters, like Trump digs coal, like get it, haha, cool, it's edgy, he digs coal, he likes it.
Funny.
It's haha. Republicans know how to be funny.
I don't get it.
Yeah, it's all right. And next to that poster was a life-size cutout of Donald Trump staring down at where I was sleeping. And I don't care what your politics are, you do not want that man staring at you while you sleep. That
I'd
is
like
creepy.
to know a decent comparison. How big were his hands?
Well, I have a picture of that, so you'll be able to look at the link dump.
Were they big enough to cop a few?
He was doing 2 like unenthusiastic thumbs up. And yeah, so he was kind of hiding his tiny hands.
Allegedly.
So the 3 things that were in the game room, the 3 themes: Confederate stuff, and I'm gonna lump Trump into that category. Trains, model trains, because he was a train engineer.
Are you sure they weren't Confederate trains?
Yeah, were they Confederate
I don't know what the
trains?
definition of a Confederate
Are you sure they're
train
not Confederate trains run by Trump?
Well, they probably run on coal because Trump digs coal, motherfucker. And a shit ton of sports novel. I don't know, like.
Yo, did he have Eagle stuff? I love the Eagles.
He had Yankee stuff, and that was the only team I recognized. He
was
had a
it
life-size
green and
cutout
it had-
of Derek Jeter, which
Who
that was
wouldn't?
the most normal thing I had seen there.
What was the proximity to Trump and Jeter in the same room?
Yeah, were they close to each other?
The spiral staircase separated them, but they were about 8 feet away from each other.
I wonder how Jeter feels about Trump.
Yeah, we should.
Hey, Derek
we'll find
Jeter,
out.
I know you already listened to the podcast. We mentioned
Yeah.
you once already.
Yeah, tweet at
how
us,
do you,
Derek.
Yeah, how do you feel about Donald Trump?
And congrats on the girl. I think he's having a girl.
Probably.
Or boy. It's one or the other,
Yeah,
unless it's
child.
fluid. I don't know.
What do you think
Alien.
of his hands?
Yeah.
Derek Jeter's hands are probably very supple.
No. Derek Jeter thinks of Donald Trump's hands.
Yeah.
And like how you
Find
assume
out
that
next
Derek
week,
Jeter's hands are
for-
supple.
Jeter's response.
Of course.
Liam, actually, you're our social media guy. I need you to actually directly tweet at Derek Jeter tonight and ask him directly that question so we can reference it for next week.
All right, I'll make sure.
There you
of
go.
I'm
Alright,
sure
thanks, man.
we'll get a great
that.
response.
Yeah, we'll definitely get a response.
And
Not from Derek Jeter.
I think that's pretty much everything. It was just weird. Just
So
a
how did
weird
it all
weekend.
end? Like, so you're like you were driving home with like a man on your roof and like piss covered kids. So like, what was the climax of the weekend?
The climax of
Yeah,
the
when
weekend
did you
would probably be
climax?
the graduation, would it not? I
So
mean,
that was after all these events. the
yeah,
actual
that
graduation.
all of that was the night before graduation was what I just described. Graduation was later.
How was the ceremony the following day after you had been through all that with your
Waking
family?
up was hard, man. I had to wake up at
Like the waking up
uh,
itself was hard, or you just had like a really hard on, like just when morning wood.
yeah, that's how I would have worded that if that's what I meant. That's
Hey,
how I word
like
things.
you're like such an English majory type of guy. I never know how you might throw your words around. Really spice it up.
Is that really a type? You're an
don't
English
know.
majory type of guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's who-
I think you just
The
told
kind of guy
everyone
you
how
are.
not English majory you are.
Hey, Nova.
Hey, I'm
I
an
trust you
uneducated
with
swine.
words.
You trust me with words? That's good.
trust
That's
you.
why I do the
I trust your
descriptions and
words
titles.
with my words.
Yeah.
Should this week's title be Trump digs coal?
Wait, well, I've come up with the last 2 titles, so.
Let's never put. Trump in
Oh
the
wait,
title,
I forgot
please.
about the most important part. I wasn't here for this, but my oldest cousin got there before I did, and the first thing he described to me was as soon as he got there, he had to take a red-eye flight from Oregon. So he was very tired and he just wanted to go and sleep for obvious reasons. But the guy who owned the property wanted to give everyone a tour, and especially him for some reason. So he was given the tour, and my cousin was like, "Okay, I want to go to bed now, though." And he was like, "Let me get the wording perfect because it's important." He said, "But wait, you have to come into my caboose." That was
you don't
verbatim. You have to come into my caboose. And I mean, at any point in the day, you're going to be a little bit confused by that. But just imagine being fucking exhausted and then having someone like yell at you that you need to come into their caboose. That would be an odd moment.
My.
But what he meant by that was this man, an eccentric man
Yeah,
who
the
had
train.
like a little bit of everything. He had bathtubs for furniture. Like he had bathtub couches. That was a thing.
I would sit in a bathtub.
It was actually really comfortable, to be honest. It was one of
I
those
would sit on the
bathtubs
couch.
that's like not built into the wall. It's like it's got the legs and everything. I don't know what they're called.
Bathtub.
But yeah, he had a full size train caboose
No,
in
but that's
his
called
yard.
a tub.
No, it's a full size train caboose.
No.
Okay. Oh, you got him.
And yeah, he gave each member of the family a tour of his caboose.
Not the
So
two
everyone
Soon crew, right?
came
Just your
in
family?
his caboose.
Yeah, everybody came into this man's caboose.
Just not Nova.
Yeah, just
I guess that'll be the title of this: is "Come into my caboose." And I think that completes my story. I might remember something later, and I also have this album of pictures so that you can see some of the crazy experiences.
Or you can just follow Auric on Snapchat if you ever want to make a Snapchat public.
Or you can follow me on Twitter at Too Soon Podcast. I really just want people to follow the Twitter.
We might make a.
I don't
a
ask
Too
for
Soon.
much. I just want people to follow the Twitter.
Yeah, please follow the Twitter, guys. Like, if any of you, because like, look, we have undeniable proof at this point that people have at least listened to at least part of the show at some point, because there have been, at this point, thousands of downloads.
Yeah,
People have been listening.
Wait, is it
Thousand.
more than 1,000? I thought it was
No, it's
something like
just
1,700 or something.
Well, I say thousands after we hit 1,000 because it makes it sound like more. But
Well, I think
We've
you have
had
to wait until
thousands of
2,000.
download.
We've had 1,000 of downloads.
I mean, it's like 1,500.
You need to wait for it to be 2,000 before you can say thousands.
Yeah, you need
Whatever.
multiple
Why do you have to
thousands.
call me out, man? I'm trying to help us out. They don't have access to this information.
That's true, they don't. We have 20 billion downloads. It's unbelievable. We're the most listened to
It's a bit
podcast.
much.
Nah,
No,
what are you
but
talking
look,
about?
we-
Don't call me out, bro.
For doing this
You know
for
what?
about a
I'll
month
call you
now, a
out.
little over a month, we've had a pretty decent amount of like downloads and everything, and very, very tiny feedback. So if anybody out there is listening, at the very least, just follow us on Twitter. If we start seeing more people following on Twitter, we'll tweet more stuff.
I'll follow you back.
We're not asking for
He'll follow you
handouts, but please give us some handouts.
Give me some handouts, please. I just
forgot
need
to.
it.
Look, if you follow us on Twitter, we will come in your caboose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just leave your hand out. I'll do something to it.
What does that mean?
I really appreciate that. I'll do something to it.
Now you got to find out. Please put your hand out so that we can find out what Trey meant by that. But yeah, I forgot to mention that in the sticky room of the fraternity was a like broken deer head just on the wall.
In the brick room.
No, it was the sticky room, is what I call it.
Yeah, it
It's like
was
the game
sticky.
room.
Okay, so the sticky room is separate from the piss room.
Yeah, the sticky room was
Wow.
adjacent to the piss room.
Okay, well, I mean that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean it probably carried over considering there was no drain. So eventually it's gonna
It's
flow.
gonna seep through the walls.
By any chance, do fraternities have like Google reviews? Because you should definitely leave a bad.
I
Google
highly
review.
doubt it.
I don't
I
think they
know.
would.
Let's start that.
There was a piss
Okay.
room, and it's kind of scared me.
Yeah, that was my weekend. Oh, and then as soon as I get back, after the 4-hour drive back, or 4.5-hour drive back, I get home and I walk into the room I'm in right now, which is like my man cave, but with less Trump and less sports memorabilia and zero trains. There's a hole in my ceiling, and yeah, there's water coming out of it. So that was a warm welcome home.
You know, speaking of holes in ceilings, I think someone here in this very, very virtual room can really sympathize with that.
I'm gonna assume it's Trey.
Yeah, me too.
Good call.
No,
Trey, you got holes?
I mean I got 2. What you need them for?
No,
I
but
want to do
actually,
something to them.
For like the last
Just put
like
'em out.
year. Trey has had a hole in his bedroom that has still not been fully repaired.
Is it
That
like
was
a
leaking so
glory
bad.
hole or something?
No, it's in the
You
ceiling.
got visitors? Well, I mean,
Yeah, it's a ceiling.
maybe he's
glory hole.
very well
Well-
endowed. Who knows?
If we're talking about holes that aren't in his ceiling, then I actually have a little story that he should tell, or I will tell it for him.
You guys
What?
butt fuck or something?
Yeah, you guys.
Oh no,
put
no.
stuff
I mean,
into each other's
I'm
holes?
talking about a hole in his wall that he made himself.
What?
Oh, the.
Oh yeah.
What?
I haven't
I've
heard this
never shot
story.
a shotgun in my house.
No. So there was a time where Trey shot a hole in his wall with a handgun.
Oh yeah, that.
I
Wait,
thought he had a shotgun.
What?
Yeah.
Man, Florida's
happened.
fucked up.
Yeah.
No, Trey's just dumb.
No,
I think both is true.
Yeah, I mean,
it
true.
was
But-
it was jammed.
Tell us about it, Trey.
That's all I'm
It
gonna
was
say.
jam-
It was what?
The gun was jammed.
I mean, obviously it wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't jammed.
No, so basically at first there was something wrong with it where it wouldn't cock back, and it wouldn't. The firing, I guess, the trigger wouldn't go back all the way. So I kept messing with it, and I don't.
That's always a good thing to do with a loaded gun, is just mess with it.
Well, it wasn't always loaded at the moment, but
it was.
No, not the whole time I was working on it. It was just that time when I actually figured it out. It happened to be.
I'm just curious as to why you had a gun.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, can you not have guns?
I guess it's because I live in New York and I just don't understand the concept of not owning a gun.
I mean, I have two.
The concept of not owning a gun?
Yeah, down here in Florida, it's like weird for a lot of people of the idea of just not owning guns. Like most people here have some.
Look, the day after those kids threw an alternator through my window. All right.
See, in New York, we have police that have more of a budget than most militaries.
Yeah, most small militaries.
We let them do that kind of shit. Like, you guys figure out the gun stuff. When I'm a hostage, you guys shoot the person who's holding me hostage. It's simple. I don't need to shoot him because we got other people to do that for us. Simple.
I'm just saying, when there's no cops around, somebody.
There's always cops around in New York.
We're not in New York. Right?
That's what I'm saying. In New York, we got a lot of cops. I'm a block away from a police station. Every morning when I drive past that police station, I see 20 cops walking to their cars with assault rifles over their shoulders. I don't need guns. They got that shit handled.
Just saying,
I'm definitely
somebody breaks in your house.
A couple guns the next year,
and there's let's say somebody breaks in your house. All right. And
I got a fucking katana. That's what I'm using, dude. I got a katana in this room right behind me.
Well,
I
as
got a
you
switchblade
stand
to my left. I got another knife to my left. Actually, I probably shouldn't be saying this because it's illegal in New York. But I mean, I don't have this.
He's
that'll cover my tracks.
10 feet away from you with a gun in his hand.
I throw the katana.
If somebody comes into my house with a gun,
we haven't mentioned it
I
up to
sit
now,
the
but
fuck
Auric's
down
actually
and
a
I
trained
let him
ninja.
steal my shit.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Here's what I do. Take it.
All right.
Take whatever you want.
Take my stuff.
Just don't kill me.
Even if I had a gun, I wouldn't fucking pull it on a guy with a gun.
No, unless he's like purely in my house in order to kill me. But what the fuck scenario is that? I don't live in Florida. That doesn't exist here. We don't have that. We have people that want your money and your stuff, not your life.
Well, I don't want to give my stuff, so I'm gonna protect my stuff.
Do you not have insurance?
No.
Well, okay then.
No, most people don't have homeowners insurance, actually.
Well, invest.
It's expensive. But, I personally...
Look, I'd rather have my life than a fucking computer. Also, what are you going to do? You're going to come in here and steal my 70-pound computer? Great, now you have work to do. Yeah, it's a lot of work.
I'll call the cops.
You also make sure to pull out all the plugs, otherwise you're going to break it and then it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it works.
No, but I'm definitely gonna be owning a few weapons here because I'm not trying to really collect or anything. I just would like the how can I word it? I definitely want to have them just in case like there is a situation where somebody's breaking because like I'm
if
like
the
you guys,
South ever rises again.
Yeah, if it ever rises again, I have to join the front lines, obviously. But no. What I mean is, like, I'm probably like you guys. Like, in most situations, if my house ever's broken into, I probably wouldn't do a whole lot of, like, instigating the situation. But let's just say in the scenario where, I just happen to have, like, my weapon, like, ready enough and someone was to be in a situation where I had a pretty clear shot and no one else was in the way, I'd probably take it just to defend my house,
But also, like, there's different laws in New York. You can't just shoot someone for being in your house in New York.
Yeah, I think the defending yourself law is defending in Florida,
yourself.
But not... No, like if someone breaks into your house, you have the right to shoot them in Florida. Yeah. I don't think it's the same in New York.
No, in New York, I think your safety has to be threatened. The safety of you or someone else has to be threatened in order to do something like that. Not just your belongings, because belongings are not that important.
Well, it's trespassing as well, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, as soon as someone comes into your house, so let's just be frank here. As soon as someone breaks into your house, you have no idea what their intent is when they're coming in, though. It's not like they're going to fucking tell you.
Sure, but if they are just taking stuff and you're not about to get shot, and like if they're not even paying attention to you, and you just shoot them, that's not legal in New York. You can't just shoot someone for being in your house in New York.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the stand your ground law and a lot of the similar laws are different every state. It's really all over the place when it comes to that. But no, I mean, I would definitely
Especially
shoot
in,
someone if someone
Texas.
broke into my home. If the opportunity was like, like if it arose, I suppose. Like if I had a good shot and everything was safe and like I was defending myself in my property, yeah, I'd do it. I'm not saying I need to carry my gun around everywhere and have it on my person and like have it displayed and show it off every 2 seconds. But I definitely would like to have at least a weapon in my home.
If someone is in my house and I feel threatened, or I think that they're gonna go after my mother or something like that, then chances are it's probably all the lights are off in my house. If someone's breaking in, it's probably nighttime, and I know my house like the back of my hand, and I have knives. And I have a blow dart gun. I'll figure this shit out. You know how many fucking hiding spots I know in my house and I could get into instantly? I'll be all right.
I have a blow dart gun.
I do have
Please
a blow
take
dart
my
gun.
stuff.
I could just see Auric going
leave me
full
alone.
Rambo. Like,
But-
knife in his mouth, blow
Wouldn't that be
dart gun
fucking
at the
fun?
ready.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't have a knife in my mouth if I needed to use the blow dart gun.
Fuck you.
'Cause
I mean, the thing is,
But something to keep in mind though in that situation. I mean, I totally agree with you guys. But think of it from the perspective, like if you get into a hand-to-hand scenario with someone breaking into your house, you never know what they could also have a knife and not even have a gun.
See, like, I don't...
So it could have been safer for you to shoot them at a distance and go in them directly. So
Yeah.
see, that's just the thing. You never know what's going to happen if someone breaks into your house. So there's many. I'm not saying every scenario. There's many scenario where if someone broke into your house, you happen to already have your weapon there in clear sight. It's just safer in that whole situation just to shoot them there.
now that I
see,
think
here's
about
the
it,
thing.
I
know
know
for a fact that I am not the type of person to ever want to own a gun or is going to own a gun, but I am the last person to say that nobody should own guns. Guns are bad. Guns are the reason why people shoot people. Like, no. Like, people are going to shoot people anyway. Just, if you want to own a gun, own a gun. It's not my problem. I'm not going to own a gun. That's not my problem.
now at least 2 of the laws I know regarding the Florida gun laws is for sure you cannot shoot anybody in the back. If they get shot in the back, then you will go to jail for that.
Yeah, no. That's fucked up.
And another thing is, if that person has their hands up, you cannot shoot them as well.
Yeah, if they're surrendering.
yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Which, yeah, that's totally reasonable,
I just thought of another plan of, I was going to say plan of attack, but plan of defense
Plan of attack.
would be
Premeditated murder. You
I
heard it
just
right here.
go outside and yell because the cops are right there.
Hey, there's
Well,
a
every scenario is
motherfucker
gonna
in
be
my
different.
house
What
with
if
a
I
gun.
have
Someone's in my
Yes.
house, help, I guess. And then the cops don't have anything to do here, so they're going to be waiting for someone to yell, and they're going
we
to come
help
over
these
here with the
kids?
fucking SWAT truck. When we thought we smelled gas in our basement, the whole entire fire department showed up. Because they don't have anything to do. And they all,
fire
like, they
department.
could have walked here in less time than it took them to all get into their truck and put on their sirens, open the garage door, and come around 2 fucking corners. But they did it. They brought 2 trucks and a fucking, chief car.
Yeah, you gotta watch out for them explosives.
What if there's just like a little gallon of gas just on the floor?
Yeah, just gas
Why
and
would
canister
there-
floor.
I would be so mad.
How'd that get there? Someone broke into my house and left a can of gas.
No,
They're in
keep
for the long
cans
con.
of gas in their
Your
houses.
mom's like, "Oh, I
for,
forgot
Yeah,
I
that's
put
another
that
always
there."
starting to get
lawnmowers,
Can of gas.
cars.
The gang
gas is
solves the
pretty common.
gas problem.
Yeah, buy some gallons of oil.
Just gonna store gasoline barrels in my basement.
That's a great idea.
Yeah,
Wait, you
I
have a
can't think of a
basement?
better one.
But the real moral of the story is just don't shoot holes in your walls.
Yeah,
and try to
don't
get lucky
shoot
you're
your
home
wall.
alone.
Wasn't on purpose.
Maybe if you're gonna own
No,
guns,
no,
leave
no,
them at
no.
the gun club that you shoot at.
the gun club.
No, I mean honestly, if you're
guns.
gonna own a gun, if it's your weapon, you might as well just have it in your house at that point. Because why? Look, if you're gonna own a weapon for self-defense, there's no point in leaving it somewhere else.
My only request is,
I wouldn't
if
have
you
a gun
own
for
a gun,
self-defense.
don't
Yeah,
have
but
it in the reach of children, because
Yeah. Oh,
children shoot people constantly.
No, if you own a gun,
Or
you have
in
children,
the
you should
reach
have it
of someone
safe.
who shoots walls.
Yeah, or in the reach of Trey.
Well, look, I'm just teasing Trey. Trey's responsible for his gun, but accidents happen though.
And that's
So
why
you just gotta be careful.
That's why you gotta be careful with guns, because that shit's scary. Right, boys?
Yeah.
Right, boss.
Yeah, but no,
Right,
but seriously,
boss.
like if you have kids, you own weapons. There's no good excuse for why you don't own a safe for your gun.
Yeah, for real. For real.
Because if you can afford at least $400 for a handgun, you can at least afford $100 safe.
What if your kid's a better shot than you? He's got a better KD ratio.
Then your kid needs to get a safe for the gun. So
yeah, I was gonna say that. Buy him a safe and his own gun.
No, you're not allowed to have a gun if your kid outshoots you.
Yeah, I'll be a little salty. Like, wait, did this?
I mean, not if you.
Did
I
he
mean,
just shoot
I would
that
say.
target?
What the fuck?
Well, I mean, if you're training your kid to like actually shoot in competition, then that's a good reason why they would be better than you. Because like I'm like one of my cousins who now lives in Texas. When he lived in Florida in the town I live in, he actually shot competitively at competitions all over the state. So he was a better shot than most adults.
Damn you.
Because he did that regularly. And actually, recently I saw on his Facebook that he built an AR-15 or some kind of automatic rifle he built himself. Because if you buy all the parts, you can build guns yourself, and it's pretty cool, pretty fun. He says so.
Intriguing.
And
it's like building your own computer.
Pretty fun.
And he's actually someone because like I know for like personally that he's been around guns so much and he knows them so well. Like I have no problem with him being around him if he has a weapon because like he's been trained to shoot for years.
Shoot
he's
to
only
kill.
like a year older than me.
I
Did you
just
guys wanna
don't
do the music now?
value. Oh, sure. I just don't value
what were you gonna say?
and the right to own guns as much as other people. Like I don't give a shit. Take
Guns scare
the
me.
right away. Don't take the right away. I don't care. Either way, my life is not going to be changed.
Well, I don't necessarily care about that individual like principle of the gun stuff, but I'm always against the idea of the government taking away rights that have already been established. Like
That's
if
the
it's already
Second
been
Amendment right there.
if it's already been established, it's a really slippery slope from there after something's taken away. Because then what else can they take away? You know?
I feel like that's the real common argument, but I don't. What else do we need to take away?
You never know. That's the whole point.
I mean,
That's
you do though, because no one's talking
No,
about
you don't.
taking away your yogurt. Like, there's not. What else are you gonna take away?
People should take away yogurt. Yogurt.
No,
My
Eventually, all
yogurt.
right. The next thing is gonna be we're not gonna be allowed to drive because automatic cars do that for you. Oh no!
But what if
my
I wanna
right
drive
to
a manual car?
drive? Yeah,
Right,
there's
but
nothing
but
else.
You can't. But no, you can't actually know what kind of group with what agenda will eventually try to do something. And when you give potential groups that try to take away something that really makes sense now in the future because of some kind of event, you never know. So there's no point in trying to
I don't see how one
things
really affects the other.
because it's just the idea of that we can change something that's been established that in principle as long as
But
we
the
as
thing is,
citizens
we
hold something upright.
like how much trouble it would be to go through this. Like, have you seen all of the fucking arguments about gun control and all this shit? Like,
No,
it's
I'm
not
not-
an easy thing to do. It will never be an easy thing to take away someone's rights in any regard.
No,
so I don't
I'm
think we
not
need to
talking
worry
about-
about it.
I'm not even talking about gun control. I'm just talking
No,
about
I'm
the idea
saying
of
in
just
general,
removing rights in
if
general.
anything to the same degree comes into fruition, it won't be like, oh, well, since they took away guns, now it's going to be really easy to take away the next thing. That's
You
not
know
how
what
that
right
works.
can never be taken away from me?
No, but it
The
would
right
be
to follow me on
easier.
Twitter at Too Soon Podcast.
No, but it would be easier and it'd be more
taking that away
possible
from you.
for stuff like that to happen, though.
I don't think it
Definitely.
would. I think it would irrelevant.
I think everyone should follow me on Twitter at Too Soon Podcast.
That's one thing we can all agree on.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I mean, but on a last little note with the gun stuff, though, I definitely do think that anytime there's conversation about it, there's way too many people that overreact to what people are suggesting about regulation stuff, though, and everybody should really just
Yeah, there are
think about
crazy
what,
people on both sides. That's why
Yeah,
I say I don't really give a shit either way. Just stop shooting people at schools and then I'm happy. It's pretty simple.
Definitely.
Just don't shoot a kid. And don't let a kid shoot a kid.
Just at schools. That's it. And everything else is
Yeah,
fine.
just at school.
Yeah, I mean you could
Not at concerts.
you could go to concerts all you want. That's fine.
Okay, real talk. I'm pretty sure that was a bombing.
Yeah, it was a
well,
bombing. It was a suicide bombing.
Yeah, so
Go to
too soon,
gay
guys.
clubs.
soon.
It's fine.
Yeah, that's
Gay
fine. But
clubs.
schools are off limits.
Yeah.
I feel like the
just the whole
establishment
state
of the
of
gay
Florida.
club was expecting a gunman. That's not how I feel.
Too soon, Mark. Too soon.
I mean, that's not even too soon. That's just ignorant.
But did you guys have songs you guys want to suggest to the audience for closing out the show here?
Oh, we're closing already? God damn.
Oh yeah, we're just that time.
I could
shit.
pull one out of my ass. Let's see.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
say...
whoever's ready first, go ahead
All right,
and drop
Jimmy
that hot bomb.
Loves Marianne by Looking Glass.
I'm gonna play "Vibe to It" by Chris Webby.
Let's see. So I got one. I'm gonna recommend "I Felt Your Shape" by the Microphones.
I Felt Your Butt by the Liam O'Keefe.
Nice.
And the album it's from, by the way, is
I
The Glow
felt
Part
the
2.
inside of your caboose by some man from Gettysburg.
I came in your caboose.
Go with "Do the Astral Plane" by Flying Lotus.
All right, just type all your shit in the thing and I'll add it.
No.
Got him.
And then, Liam, did you want to kick it off with the social media, or did you want to tell
Let's
the
talk about
audience
R.
anything
Kelly
else?
Trapped in the Closet, Chapter 1.
Hey, that's a pretty good show.
I actually do
really
want to
good.
tell the audience something. I want to tell them to follow me on Twitter at Too Soon Podcast. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/TooSoonPodcast. Follow us on YouTube. Watch our videos. Listen to the podcast, please. We need it. I need your love and support. You can download the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Libsyn, Stitcher, TuneIn, and SoundCloud only if you want to listen to the first episode, which you probably already listened to at this point. And then email me if you really want to at thetooSoonCrew@gmail.com. Seriously, I'm not joking. Please be in contact with me. I love you. Don't hate me.
Come
Please.
into my caboose.
Come into my caboose.
You're welcome. You're all welcome
Hey, that
into
was,
my caboose any day.
That's pretty good. We should do this again.
As well,
You
you guys
guys,
are all welcome to also
guys
join
wanna
our
go?
Discord servers and hang out with us and become friends. I've been actually getting back into the live streaming stuff again lately too. So if I keep doing that, you guys should check that out too.
Yeah.
I won't really plug that right now because I'm not sure how much I'll be doing it. But come join the Discord and you can find out more about that stuff.
Has
And
your
also
Grammy been
follow
laying
me
off
on
Netflix?
Tgizzle423.
Oh yeah, sure. that was the Twitch channel.
That's
No,
my
that's
Twitch
Liam's.
channel.
Yeah, that's Liam's.
Yeah,
No,
you can
I'm
plug
the
your
Gizzle.
Twitch. You can plug your Twitch whenever you want. But
All right.
that's
if
fine.
you,
my Twitch
you
is
haven't heard us,
twitch.tv/casual
YouTube.
llama.
/ Liam Cannon.
pretty good.
/ actually Leams.
Not Batman.
I
Nice
could probably.
pants.
I could stream if I want to, but I'm not gonna.
No, you can't stream with your fucking internet.
Yeah, no, you really can't.
Hey, it only
unless
shuts off
unless you're
occasionally.
streaming GTA for whatever reason.
Yeah. No,
Have
see,
we talked
it
about
worked-
that on the podcast at all?
Yeah, we
did.
did.
Yeah.
See, it
Like a
works.
second or third
It's
episode.
it's only like shut off like 2 times in the past week, so it's really not that bad as of late.
Well,
It's
it's so bad
always
enough to
when
where you
we're
should
about to
probably
record.
Yeah.
or
No,
while we're recording.
Yeah, it's just bad omens.
or both.
Or both.
Yeah.
And with that, I'm gonna go ahead and say that we're done with the show.
Did you guys like how that sounded?
That sounded gorgeous.
It was
what
pretty
the
good
fuck that
sound.
was?
I don't know. I've developed this voice whenever I would talk to my mom sometimes, like when we were grocery shopping, where I would just talk like that. And
I should cry.
there was one point where I couldn't find her, and I was like, "Hey, where'd you go? I've been looking for you. I missed you. Hey, I'll see you later."
It's really creepy. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
it is.
Yeah, no, it's
funny,
like you're very like
hey there, kiddo.
adult. I don't.
You want to look at my
You're like
caboose?
you're like 1920s adult.
You could be a voice actor for some creepy anime.
No, not at all.
Nanda Dio.
Hey kids, you want to climb a tree?
Okay, everybody, and I have been your host, Trenton, for episode 7 of the Too Soon
You act
podcast.
like you're the only host. There's
I'm
fucking
Liam.
4 of us, asshole.
I'm your
Yeah,
host.
but when
I've been
but-
your host,
but-
Liam.
But when I say your
and-
other names, I'm
and-
implying you guys are co-hosts.
I've also been your host, Auric, and also been your host, Trey. And this is
Yeah.
the Too Soon Podcast, episode 7.
We are the Too Soon
Signing
hosts.
Good night, good fight.
I'll miss you. I'll never forget.
4 score and 7 years
I
ago.
keep following you.
This podcast
You won't get
ended.
rid of me.